Now, Yaakov, until this point, obviously it's only been about 36 hours, Israel has fared pretty well when it comes to the hundreds of ballistic missiles that have been fired from Iran towards the country. But give us a sense of the amount of ballistic missiles that Israel is expecting to be inundated with from the Islamic Republic and how prepared it actually feels. What are the defense systems that are on the ground that are fighting against this?
Before this attack began and before this phase of the war against Iran began, the engineers behind the multi-layered Israeli air defense system, Arrow 3, which operates in space, Arrow 2, which operates in the upper atmosphere, David Sling, they all were working on upgrading their systems, and the systems that we're looking at now are actually not the same systems that we even saw a year ago. So they're constantly being upgraded. Their algorithms are being improved. The detection, the radars are being improved. We don't have an exact interception rate as of now, but it's clear that the big majority of the ballistic missiles that were heading towards populated areas so far have been intercepted. So, when we're looking at the defensive aspect of this, of course, it's never going to be hermetic, and the cost of war is terrible. We're looking at, multiple casualties in Bet Shemesh just now, and last night a woman in Tel Aviv. When you look at the number of missiles that have been fired, the big majority of them have been intercepted successfully. And this is a risky business. War is always risky. There's no such thing as a hermetic system that's 100% guaranteed to stop everything.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, the percentage in terms of direct missile hits has remained very, very low. What is the Home Front Command essentially dictating to the public right now? What do Israelis need to know who are watching this?
Well, the Home Front Command is of course telling people to be very closely tuned in to their instructions. People are receiving early alerts, which gives them time to think about the move to the shelter, the safe room. And, of course, the instructions are right now that all Israeli civilians have to be within close range to their shelters, to their safe rooms. And then they get the early warning. They can be more prepared for when the actual real-time warning comes in. And the Home Front Command is telling people to continue to show good discipline because it's essential to the resilience of the Home Front Command and to the wider military campaign. But I think it's also important not to just look at this defensively. We have to look at the first line of defense against these missiles, which is in Iran itself, and it's the Israeli Air Force. And actually, they've just released some very interesting figures talking about the fact that they've destroyed essentially 200 launchers in the past 36 hours. That represents 50% of the Iranian launchers compared to the number that they had going into this war. Now, launchers, it's more important to destroy them than the missiles themselves. If you compare it to gun and bullets, you can have 1,000 bullets, but if your 10 guns don't work, you can't fire any bullets. And so the first priority for the Israeli Air Force is eliminating launchers that have missiles loaded on them already, ready for firing and aimed at Israeli civilians. By the way, they've also destroyed launchers that were pointed at Arab Gulf states.
Right.
So that's very interesting to know as well. So at the end of the day, we're looking at a gradual degradation of Iran's firing capabilities. I also think that the Iranians, even though they're following pre-planned protocols, their firing, their volleys are not as coordinated as they would want them to be. And that's a direct result of the elimination of enormous amounts of commanders and senior leaders in the Iranian regime. And that is creating disruption in their ability to command, control, coordinate large volleys. So these volleys might be more frequent, but they don't seem to be as big as the ones that we were facing in June. So this is going to continue, but I think that we are seeing some very, very major results here from the Israeli Air Force offensive effort as well.
All right, Yaakov, thank you for joining us.